My beloved child, listen closely, because this message is meant to reach you exactly where you are today. Not by accident. Not randomly. But intentionally, gently, and with truth wrapped in love, you keep asking God the same question in different ways. Sometimes in words. Sometimes in tears. Sometimes in silence late at night when no one sees your heart breaking except Him. You're the one He loves. So why is she still in his life? Why does her name still come up? Why does her presence still linger? Why hasn't God removed her if you are the one chosen, the one prayed for, the one loved? God wants you to understand something deeper than what your eyes can see right now. Love is not always proven by immediate removal. Sometimes love is proven by process. And right now, God is working in a place you cannot reach, touching things you cannot control, healing wounds you did not cause, and untangling bonds that were never meant to last forever. You are not wrong for feeling confused. You are not weak for feeling threatened. You are not lacking faith because you wonder why she still exists in the picture. God sees your questions. He hears the ache beneath them. And He is not offended by your honesty. If you were not the one He loves, this would not hurt the way it does. Indifference doesn't ache. Unimportance doesn't ache. Distance doesn't ache like this. The pain you feel is not proof of loss. It is proof of value. God says, you are the one who touches His heart in ways He doesn't yet fully understand. You are the one who challenges His growth, not just His comfort. You are the one who reflects a future, not just a familiar past. And sometimes, when God is preparing someone for a deeper love, He allows old attachments to surface one last time, not to compete with you, but to be confronted and released. She may still be there physically, emotionally, or even symbolically. But presence does not equal priority. Proximity does not equal purpose. History does not equal destiny. There are relationships people cling to not because they are right, but because they are known. Not because they are healthy, but because they are familiar. God is patient with hearts that are learning how to let go. You see it as delay. God sees it as disentanglement. You see it as confusion. God sees it as clarification. You see it as competition. God sees it as confirmation, because here is the truth God wants you to rest in today. If she were truly meant to stay, you would not be standing where you are now. God does not bring the right person into someone's life to be a backup plan. He does not awaken a love that carries peace, depth, and growth just to discard it for something shallow or unresolved. Sometimes God allows another person to remain in the picture for a season to expose what is unfinished. Not because He wants it continued, but because He wants it completed. Closure is not always quiet. Sometimes it is messy. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. Sometimes it lingers longer than we expect, and yes, it hurts you. God knows. But He is not careless with your heart. If God removed her instantly, there would always be a question mark in His spirit. A what if? A lingering doubt. And God refuses to build your future on uncertainty. He wants your love to be chosen freely, clearly, and fully, not out of guilt, not out of pressure, and not out of confusion. So God allows time to do what force never could. While you wait, God is also working in you, strengthening your identity, deepening your discernment, teaching you not to measure your worth against someone else's past. Because comparison is the enemy's favorite distraction. It keeps you looking sideways instead of upward. You were never meant to compete with her. You were meant to outgrow the need to, God says. Stop asking why she is still there, and start trusting why you are. You are there because your love is not built on fear. You are there because your presence brings peace, not chaos. You are there because your heart is ready for something real. You are there because your connection is not based on history alone, but on alignment. She represents what was. You represent what can be. And people don't always release the past easily. Even when the future is standing right in front of them, God is gentle with transitions. He understands how human hearts attach, even when they shouldn't. And He knows exactly when to step in and say, enough. This season is over. That moment is not late. It is not forgotten. It is not cancelled. It is appointed. Until then, God is asking you not to shrink yourself to be chosen faster. Not to beg for reassurance. Not to monitor every interaction. Not to lose your peace trying to control an outcome God already holds. Your role is not to remove her. Your role is not to prove yourself. Your role is not to fight for position. Your role is to remain who God created you to be. Because the right love does not require rivalry. The right love does not thrive on triangles. The right love does not keep you in anxiety. If He truly loves you, and God knows the truth of His heart, then what remains unresolved will eventually feel unbearable to Him. Conviction always comes before clarity. Discomfort always comes before change, and when that change happens, it will not be because you demanded it. It will be because God completed it. There will come a day when her presence no longer confuses you. Because it won't matter anymore. Either she will be gone from his life, or gone from your heart. And both outcomes lead to peace. God is not testing your patience to punish you. He is refining your trust to protect you. You don't lose what is meant for you, and what is meant for you does not arrive broken beyond repair. Today, God wants you to breathe, to release the tight grip on why. To stop replaying scenarios that steal your joy, to stop questioning your worth. You are loved, you are seen, you are chosen, and nothing, no past connection, no lingering presence, no unresolved chapter, can override what God has written with intention. Let God finish what He started. Let God handle what you cannot. Let God love you through the waiting, because the love that stays after the confusion clears, after the past fades, after the choice is made, that love will be steady, secure, and undeniable, and when that moment comes, you will realize something powerful. She was never your competition, she was just part of the process, and you were always the promise. There is a reason this situation presses on you the way it does. God often allows pressure not to break you, but to reveal what is real. And what is real right now is this: your heart wants certainty, but God is teaching you security. Certainty comes from answers. Security comes from trust. And trust is built when you learn to rest even when answers are incomplete. You wonder if His love for you is strong enough. God says love that is growing will always face resistance. Not everything that lingers is chosen. Sometimes it lingers because it hasn't yet been released correctly. People don't always know how to end things cleanly. Some relationships fade slowly, not suddenly. And God allows that slow fading because it exposes truth in stages. If He didn't care, you wouldn't feel this tension. If you didn't matter, there would be no struggle. Indecision only happens when something valuable is at stake. God sees both sides of this moment. He sees your quiet faith and your silent tears. He sees His confusion and His fear of letting go. And He sees her role clearly, not as a rival, but as a reminder of what no longer fits. God says, I am not ignoring your pain. I am using this season to protect you from a future built on half choices. Half choices create half commitments create insecurity, and God refuses to give you a love that keeps you questioning your place, so He waits until the choice is full. Right now, God is stripping away comfort from what does not belong. What once felt easy will start to feel heavy. What once felt familiar will begin to feel empty. What once felt safe will begin to feel limiting. This is how God moves people out of places they no longer fit, by changing how it feels to stay. You may not see it yet, but God is already shifting His heart. The things He once tolerated are starting to irritate Him. The conversations that once flowed are starting to feel forced. The connection that once felt automatic is starting to feel hollow. That is not coincidence. That is conviction, and while this happens, God is doing something equally important in you. He is teaching you not to chase love, but to receive it. To stop measuring yourself against someone else's past. To stop asking, am I enough? And start knowing, I am already chosen. You are not meant to live in emotional suspense. You are not meant to share space with uncertainty. You are not meant to beg for clarity. God says, what belongs to you will never require you to lose your peace to keep it. Sometimes the reason she is still there is because God is letting the contrast speak. Letting Him see the difference between what drains Him and what strengthens Him. Between what keeps Him stuck and what invites Him forward. Between what is rooted in habit and what is rooted in purpose. You are not loud about your love. You are steady, you are not dramatic, you are grounding, you are not chaotic, you are calming, and that kind of love feels unfamiliar to someone who has lived in emotional noise. It takes time to recognize peace when chaos has been normal, God is patient with that learning curve, but hear this clearly: patience does not mean permanence. Just because something lasts longer than expected does not mean it lasts forever. Seasons overlap sometimes. Chapters blur. But God always brings separation when alignment becomes clear. Do not assume silence means stagnation. Do not assume delay means denial. Do not assume her presence means your absence. God often keeps you hidden while He resolves what would damage you if rushed. There will come a moment when He realizes that loving you requires courage. Courage to close old doors. Courage to disappoint someone who no longer belongs. Courage to choose growth over comfort, and when that moment comes, it will not be dramatic. It will be decisive. You won't need to question where you stand. You won't need to compare yourself. You won't need to watch for signs. Peace will confirm it. Until then, God is asking you to guard your heart without hardening it. To stay open without staying anxious. To love without losing yourself. Because the greatest danger right now is not her presence, it's you forgetting who you are. You are not an option, you are not second. You are not waiting to be chosen, you are valuable, with or without His clarity, and if at any point this connection costs you your self-worth, your joy, or your faith, God will redirect you, not as punishment, but as protection. Trust this: God will never let you be replaced. He will only remove you from places that refuse to recognize your worth. So rest tonight. Let go of the mental battles. Stop replaying conversations. Stop searching for hidden meanings. God is working. Love is unfolding. Truth is surfacing. And no matter how this resolves, you will walk away whole, stronger, wiser, and more rooted in who God says you are, because the love meant for you will never keep you wondering where you stand. There is a quiet strength in you that heaven recognizes. While you focus on what hasn't shifted yet, God is watching how you remain kind, how you remain patient, how you remain true to yourself even when your heart feels unsettled. That matters more than you know. Character revealed under uncertainty is precious to God. You wonder if waiting is costing you time. God says waiting is refining your discernment. It is teaching you what love should feel like and what it should never require. If this season ended too quickly, you might mistake intensity for intimacy, attachment for alignment. God is not delaying you, He is educating your heart. Sometimes God allows a person to stand between the past and the future because that person must learn to choose differently than they have before. Patterns don't break easily. Hearts that learned love through struggle often confuse peace with boredom at first. God knows this, and He is patient, but He is also precise. Nothing is slipping through His hands. The presence of another woman does not diminish your value. It highlights the difference between who you are and what no longer fits. God never asks His children to fight for affection. He never asks them to accept confusion as commitment. He never asks them to shrink so someone else feels secure. If love requires you to stay silent about your pain, it is not complete yet. If love keeps you anxious about your place, it is not mature yet. if love makes you question your worth. It is not aligned yet. God is shaping something healthier than what you've known before. You may feel like you are standing still while life moves around you, but spiritually, this is movement. This is strengthening. This is preparation. God is teaching you to recognize red flags early, to honor your intuition, to trust peace over promises. There will come a point when you no longer feel the need to ask about her. Not because you have answers, but because your heart will no longer need them. That is when you'll know something has shifted, either in him or in you, and God says both outcomes are victories. If he chooses you fully, it will be with clarity and courage, not hesitation. He will close doors himself, not because you demanded it, but because his spirit cannot move forward carrying what belongs to the past. If God leads you away, it will not be because you failed, but because he refuses to let you settle for uncertainty. He will replace confusion with peace, questions with confidence, longing with fulfillment. You cannot lose what is truly meant for you, and what is not meant for you cannot stay, no matter how long it lingers. God sees the nights when your thoughts spiral. He sees the moments you almost reach out for reassurance but stop yourself. He sees the dignity you maintain even when you feel vulnerable. That restraint, that grace, that self-respect, it is building something solid inside you. You are becoming someone who no longer needs validation to feel whole. Someone who can love deeply without losing balance. Someone who chooses peace over emotional chaos. And that version of you will never be overlooked. Right now, God is asking you to trust the unfolding rather than the timeline. To believe that what is meant to align will align naturally. To stop interpreting delay as rejection. Sometimes God allows a situation to linger until you grow beyond it. Until your standards rise. Until your heart becomes strong enough to walk away if needed, or steady enough to stay without fear. Either way, you win, because you are not here by accident. You are not loving in vain. You are not hoping blindly. God is guiding every step, even the ones that feel slow, even the ones that feel heavy. Stay grounded, stay honest, stay true to yourself, and remember this above all else: love that is from God never leaves you uncertain about your worth. It may test your patience, but it will never test your value. You are held, you are guided, you are deeply loved. God knows you have carried this quietly. You've tried to be strong, to be understanding, to be patient without becoming bitter. You've told yourself not to overthink, not to feel too much, not to ask too many questions. But God never asked you to numb your heart. He asked you to trust Him with it, and here is what God wants you to know now: at the deepest level, nothing about this season is wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single moment of doubt. Not a single prayer whispered under your breath. All of it has been shaping you into someone who will no longer settle for love that is unclear, inconsistent, or incomplete. You are learning something powerful right now: that love is not proven by how much you endure, but by how safe you feel. God is teaching you that peace is not something you earn after struggle, it is something you are meant to recognize as a sign. When love is right, it does not keep you guessing. It does not keep you anxious. It does not make you feel like you must compete with a memory. God has seen every moment you questioned yourself. He has seen you wonder if you should pull back, speak up, or walk away. And He has gently been guiding you toward the same truth again and again. You deserve clarity, not confusion. You deserve presence, not divided attention. You deserve a love that chooses you without hesitation. The reason God has allowed this situation to stretch is not to test your limits, but to reveal them. You are becoming aware of what you will no longer accept. You are discovering your boundaries. You are learning that love should feel secure, not uncertain. And once you see that clearly, you cannot unsee it. There is a quiet shift happening inside you. You may not notice it yet, but you are no longer as afraid of losing Him as you once were. You are beginning to understand that losing yourself would be far worse. That is growth. That is strength. That is God preparing you for something healthier. If He steps forward with a whole heart, it will be because God finished the work of separation, clarity, and courage within Him. It will be clean. It will be decisive. And it will bring peace, not relief mixed with fear, and if He does not, God will not leave you empty-handed. He will replace the attachment with wisdom, the longing with self-respect, and the waiting with a future that does not require you to doubt your worth. God does not reward endurance in unhealthy situations. He rewards obedience to truth. And truth is rising in you now. You are no longer asking, "Why is she still there?" You are beginning to ask, "What do I truly deserve?" That question changes everything, because when you know your value, you stop chasing answers from people and start trusting direction from God. You stop holding space for what confuses you and start making room for what honors you. God is not asking you to force an ending or rush a beginning. He is asking you to stand firmly in who you are, to remain open but not desperate, loving but not self-sacrificing, patient but not passive. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to expect clarity. You are allowed to choose peace, and God will never disappoint a heart that chooses truth over attachment. One day, this season will make sense. You will see how it strengthened you, refined you, and protected you. You will realize that what felt like waiting was actually preparation, and what felt like loss was actually alignment. Until then, rest in this promise: God is not confused about you. Heaven is not undecided about your worth. You are deeply known, deeply loved, and carefully guided. What is meant to stay will stay with certainty. What is meant to leave will leave without regret. And what is meant for you will meet you in peace. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not second. You are exactly where God can love you best.